It wasn't a dark and stormy night when Supermassive Games released Until Dawn, but the overall creepiness and horror the game created left gamers wanting more chances to make life and death choices of famous Hollywood actors. Rather than stick to the cabin in the woods nature of Until Dawn, the developers hit the high seas, explored the Puritan past, and fought for freedom with the first of several entries in the much shorter, though similar, The Dark Pictures anthology, going back to the 1980s slasher-inspired roots that made Until Dawn a favorite amongst PS4 players. The Quarry seems to be the latest love letter to a movie genre lauded by horror fans since its origins. Having really enjoyed Until Dawn and felt the Dark Pictures anthology games were solid experiences, I was ready to jump into the deep end of this potentially infested figurative lake head first. As per the norm in regards to Supermassive Games' most recent creations, the officially promoted spiritual successor to Until Dawn doesn't change the formula in terms of gameplay, character depictions, and of course trophies and achievements. After a little over 10 hours, I completed my first playthrough completely blind, picking up a plethora of collectibles while keeping a majority of the protagonists and camp counselors alive, though Brenda Songs' character Caitlin was anything other than the final girl standing. After completing the story, the player is presented with the option of turning on a Death Rewind feature where, during their next playthroughs, can redo a scene where a character dies up to 3 times. Another reward for the gamer after completing the story is Chapter Select. Unfortunately, Chapter Select in the Quarry works nothing like the versions from its predecessors, or even other games like Uncharted 4 that provides the player more than the ability to just pick where they want to restart the story. The Quarry's Chapter Select not only resets the choices and decisions made by the player beyond the chapter chosen, but also erases all collectible progress up to that chapter selected, meaning players can't just jump around chapters and pick up the treasures that they missed initially. To top it off, Chapter Select is removed from the menu after the player chooses the option until the player goes through the story and the epilogue all over again. This decision in regards to Chapter Select purposefully extends the playtime, especially for those looking to see what happens if they make a different decision, fail a QuickTime event, or want to earn those achievements and trophies that pretty much needs a player to restart the story from Chapter 2 or 3 and continue through the entire narrative. After another 25 hours, I performed several successful playthroughs that kept everyone alive, attained all the collectibles, a feat that took 2 playthroughs alone, as one set of collectibles can't be obtained fully if the player attempts to finish another set, due to a mandatory early chapter decision voiding gamers of the necessary collectible, and earned the Hard Pass trophy that can be only obtained if someone has the disc version and hasn't updated the game to the most recent patches as of this review. Patch 1.03 on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and patch 1.02 on the PlayStation 5. Through all of this, I earned another Platinum trophy in the process. The Quarry centers its gameplay around the basis of choice. The player has the ability to move a character around, though using the walk faster button barely adds any speed to a character's steps. Interact with certain objects and people with a touch of a button, and stare at the pause screen featuring the faces of whoever is utilized to advance the story and the sheer terror that envelops them as the game progresses. Through the power of two-way choices and directional input-oriented QuickTime events, where the player in the case of consoles moves the analog stick in one direction or another, players may or may not help the protagonist stuck at their summer jobs as camp counselors survive through the night while being hunted by humans and inhumans alike. A majority of the gameplay is actually quite forgiving in terms of allowing the player enough time to make a choice without feeling rushed or a QuickTime event failure rate becoming way too high. Shooting, though, can be a little finicky without the auto-aim assist to guide the player, especially in the more hectic situations. One of the biggest changes in regards to gameplay is the hold your breath sequences. Instead of tapping a button in the rhythm of a character's elevated heart rate, all the player has to do is hold down a particular button until the game signals that the character is safe to exhale. Hold the button beyond the safety moment, and the character will reveal themselves by accident. Though the developers promised over 100 different endings, the more impressive presentation is how many options there are for things to go right or wrong. While achievement and trophy hunting, it becomes apparent just how much work the developers put into making almost every playthrough a unique experience, even if it's something as small as choosing to scare an ex-boyfriend with a clown mask, or following the trail back to camp after wandering off when a session of Truth or Dare goes wrong. Some of the choices tie into the new interrupt option, where the player is given a timed event that can be interrupted by another character, such as one obviously ill character hugging another protagonist a little too tightly. From a narrative perspective, the Quarry sticks to what not only made its predecessors enjoyable, but also the horror genre is based off of, including a mixture of archetypical teens looking forward to a life after high school, such as the social media influencer wannabe stereotypical beauty queen Emma, prototypical jock who actually is quite sensitive in Jacob, and arguably the most enjoyable protagonist, the eccentric Dylan, who definitely proves that a person shouldn't be judged by first impressions. David Arquette's character Chris acts as the main camp counselor with obviously something to hide, who unfortunately doesn't get as much screen time as one would have expected. It must be stated that certain story elements, while contrived as expected, do a great job tying the lore together without the player feeling especially constricted to the narrative beats, at least during the first playthrough. Subsequent runs show off just how stiff the story is, and the protagonist being protected by the unseen gaming god, unless the player literally puts down the controller during the most dangerous moments. This lack of stakes a majority of the time is complemented by Eliza, who uses the tarot card collectibles as a way to give gamers the chance to see into the potential future, including character deaths, similar to the totem collectibles from Until Dawn. Like Until Dawn before it, the Quarry looks great in regards to character models, though the eye movement and general ocular focus between characters during certain situations go out of alignment. Mouth movement alongside lip syncing can be a little off at times, and makes for some weird moments, similar to the female character's hair physics. There are some frame rate drops here and there with no major game-breaking bugs or hard crashes, other than the issues obviously caused by recent patches. As expected, the sound quality and general soundtrack is fantastic, including some licensed music that, if the player is streaming, should definitely enable streamer mode to avoid those copyright claims, though some of the game's charm will be lost in streamer mode. There are two different modes beyond the single player offering, Movie Night and Couch Co-op. Co-op acts like the same mode in the Dark Pictures anthology, with players choosing certain characters to control, while either passing the controller back and forth when playing locally, or working together via private online lobbies. Sadly, the online version of the multiplayer mode won't be available until July, at least 1 month after the game's release. Movie Night acts as a director's chair mode, where the player can watch all the action without the interaction, other than changing a few settings including whether or not the protagonists live or die, their penchant for certain reactions, and just how brutal things can get for a counselor, like Ariel Winter's Abigail character when she opts not to shoot an infected threat. It also must be noted that the Quarry has some of the best visually designed tutorials this side of Fallout Shelter. Similar to the other Supermassive games before it, the Quarry does a great job of embracing what works and what used to work in the genre it is inspired by, though this experience feels more like an interactive movie than a game that just plays out like an interactive movie like Until Dawn or the Dark Pictures anthology series, by taking the action away from the player more than its predecessors. Not surprisingly, the Quarry doesn't shake things up to the point of alienating fans of the genre and Supermassive Games' previous products, opting to simply improve upon the Until Dawn gameplay mechanics and storytelling. The story reaches the same heights and lows as its predecessors, while the characterization definitely leaves something to be desired, alongside a rather poorly paced opening few hours and one exceedingly long chapter 2/3 into the narrative. Gamers who enjoy these types of games and or horror movies that would fit perfectly in the 1980s will feel the Quarry is a journey worth taking. On the opposite end, gamers who have grown tired of the genre Supermassive Games has established themselves in, or just don't like these interactive dramas in general, Nothing about the Quarry will change a gamer's mind. Actually, there may be some things that encourages every gamer to give the Quarry a chance. A celebration of junk food made for kids, sick insult burns, trying to turn Jesus wept into an expletive, and learning that whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger.
We bring you a hand-picked selection of only the finest that Hackett's Quarry has to offer.
No freaking way.
Yes, frickin' way. Pop, pop, peanut butter, butter pops. Pop, pop, pop 'em in your mouth. Pop!
I didn't even know you could still find these anywhere.
Hey, cool your jets there, cowboy.
You know, you should really just save it for emergencies only. Unless, of course, is being dumped an emergency?
Oh, burn.
Okay, well, at least I had a relationship this summer.
Ooh, damn. Now we burned.
Yeah, well, maybe not everyone is looking for a hookup.
Okay, let's all put our little dicks away and get this show on the road, huh? Jesus, wet! What do you want? Every dusk and dawn all through the summer. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. We're here to lead the way. Like mates for life, we're proud to say. Shout it stroud and shout it loud. We're Hacketeers. 2 months and you never learn the words?